There's England over there. And then there's the Isle of Wight. There's lights over there. It's getting light now. It's still dark, but getting light. And we're saying goodbye, mainland, for a while. We are out on the sea and he's turning round. Huh?
He keeps on turning.
He's turning. The light is coming from over there. That's north, isn't it? Oh, I don't know what that is. He's turning the boat round. It's a pier over there. It actually looks wider, the difference when you're out here, but it doesn't from over there, does it? There's not much, even though we're in the sea right now and England's over there, it's all round there, but we're actually in the sea between the Isle of Wight and England right now. Stand up here. Frightened I'm going to lose my phone. Ooh. Can you see the sea? It's very windy at the front of the boat. An empty boat. And that, it's got to be the Isle of... Is that still England or the Isle? That was still England over there. It's our ferry. Nice flag up there. And we're right in the sea, and the Isle of Wight is... There's the Isle of Wight. It's very windy around there. Not windy here. Another ferry or another, what's that? That's a catamaran, isn't it? I don't know, anyways. Another boat over there. It's quite calm here. It's very windy at the front of the boat. Still got England round there, but we've left England for sure now. And the dog is still moaning. It's quite peaceful out here, isn't it, Jimbo?
It's very peaceful.
It's quite quaint over there. This is the Isle of Wight. At 6:30 in the morning. There's England over there. Floss having kittens again. It's so boring. She can't just have a nice time. It's quite quaint. A little train, what's it got? A chain?
Chain link ferry.
A chain link ferry just across from East Cowes to West Cowes. See, we're moving. It's a little, it's run on a chain. Yeah, we're going for breakfast, aren't we, Jimbo? It's only 7:30 in the morning. But it's light now. What it was on Friday, on the day we were leaving to go to the Isle of Wight, we actually had booked a 7:30 ferry, and that seemed, oh my God, we got up quite early and we went there, and we were there at 5 to 6. Some of the things me and Jimbo liked was that this place was very relaxed. Like, they just put us on an earlier ferry. We went on the 6 o'clock ferry, and on the way back they put us on an earlier ferry because it was lunch ferry or ferry lunch. So I didn't want to leave, but we left on an earlier ferry. No problems, no great big security thing, no worry whatsoever. They're much more laid back in the Isle of Wight. It's very hard not to start taking pictures. There's a lot more older buildings in the Isle of Wight. What I'm saying is we have them here, they're everywhere. But in the Isle of Wight, considering how small it is, there's a lot more older buildings which they're still using. Some of them they've knocked down like here, but there's a lot more there. So basically I was just looking at the top of that building and just thinking, well, that looks quite nice. But anyway, let's move on the little video of the pictures that I took. And that's the ferry we came on, and we were on the chain link pier when we took that. And then me and Jimbo stopped for breakfast. And we had to go over to the other side, West Cowes, because nothing was open in East Cowes. But some of the buildings were gorgeous, as you can see. Gorgeous. Just took some pictures of some of the bits of the buildings. Yes, a lot of that there. And what that is the UK from West Cowes. And then of course there's a lot more, you can see a lot more medieval buildings there. Look at those chimneys. Yes, I thought that was lovely. Those chimneys are amazing. Anyway, so this is us on the way back to East Cowes. And that, oh, let's go back to that. Just going to put it back. Oh, on a little bit. That building is right on the sea, and they've built this platform, and then that house is on top, and that house was very old. Anyway, I just wanted to capture it. It was quite hard, really, actually, to be honest, getting some of the pictures. And that church was gorgeous. Look at that. That's Gothic. Look at the tower on that one. It's amazing. Yeah, I like that one. I forget which church that was now. And it's just us driving around. Jimbo doesn't mind driving around, so that's what we did. And then we went on the pier at Ryde. Now that is the longest pier in the UK. And you can see there, oh, go back a tiny bit, moved on a little bit there. It was it says opened in 1814. And then it was, they extended it and they've extended it again. But it is strange because there's no security or anything. There's nothing at the front that says you can't go on here unless you're boarding a ferry or something like that. We just drove up there to the departure bit, looked around a bit, and then we started driving back when I noticed the forts out in the sea. So on the pier, noticed the forts. But this is the pier. It is enormous. No security. Just drive on, drive off. But from the pier, that is Ryde. We were looking around, and then suddenly there they are out in the water. Yeah, so I quite enjoyed. I mean, obviously they're not as far away as they look, because it's just cameras make things look further away, don't they? See, they're not that far. So do you know what my theory is? I feel that they were built on land, and then the big floods come in, and now they're in the water. And there is another one which I'm going to show you in a minute, but they're quite close to each other, so that must have all been land. And then some great big tsunamis come in and taken the land away. But these things were so big that half of it at least is out of the water and you're looking at it. Yeah. But, you know, you don't see these things, and then you do. So there's Spitbank, No Man's Fort, and St Helens Fort. But they're not forts, are they? They've called them that because they have to do this, but they're not, are they? Yes, well, I don't think they were. And if they were there, say the 15th, 16th, or even 1700s, then the water coming in has happened afterwards. But, oh, this one, St Helens, sometimes there's a causeway out there, so you see it's not that deep. But I think that's when there's low tides and things. And I think that's the military one. One of them did have a hotel on it, but that was before lock-up, so goodness knows what's happened to it now. Anyway, let's carry on. Hopefully you can see both of those out there. And England in the background. And then that one there, next to Jimbo and these rocks. This was the little swimming pool in our hotel. I was quite happy about that. It had a sauna. And see, there is the hedge out there, and the other side of that is the cliff down, and the sea is out there. So it's quite a lovely view. I didn't actually take a picture of the hotel, but it was the Brunswick cliff top view. Excellent, brilliant location. There you go. See, that is the hedge of the hotel, and then it looks out over the sea with these cliffs here in Shanklin that was, and I quite like that very much indeedy. It's quite nice being that you're overlooking the sea. Obviously there's beaches down there, people must go there in the summer, but I think there was a few high tides when we were there. And look at that old house with that thatch on it. Very old thatch on there, very close to the sea. And this one is Old Shanklin. Where we were staying wasn't called Old Shanklin, it was just called Shanklin, but this is called Old Shanklin, and I think they have floats and things. It's very famous, what do you call it? It's not just an event, it's floats, you know what I mean. They do that once a year, and that's quite famous on the Isle of Wight. I've been there for that in the past, but very old buildings. And then this is the restaurant, so you can still see the sea. And we were in Shanklin for this, and we went for dinner there, and it was all, you know, boat-like. And there is Old Shanklin. Lovely, isn't it? Oh yes, do excuse the stuff in Jimbo's car, but these are lovely old buildings. Yes, the sun has come out, and we're on our way to the Needles. There's some people going for a walk down there. Just stopped at this little thing, but it's lots of sea here. Everybody's calm, except Floss. Well, she is quite calm. She's been quite good on this holiday. Yeah, it's just all nice. I like the Isle of Wight. Jimbo likes. Do you like the Isle of Wight, Jimbo? Circle of the Sun. Oh, it's lush. It's not very cold either. Isn't that lush? And that's the Isle of Wight. The Needles are over there at the end of the Wight. Poor Jimbo just got his feet wet, didn't you, Jimbo? Because it came in suddenly. Look at those waves, isn't that gorgeous? And it's not cold. In my pictures I show this white bit here. At the end of those rocks are the Needles. So this beach isn't very far over. I took that one while Jimbo's making a little statue there. But I took this, and this little Flossie. But I took this because we had black sand there. I hadn't noticed that before, that England has a bit of black sand. Yeah, Jimbo's making his little stack of stones there. And then those are, at the end of those is the Needles. But it's so lovely. Look how close you are to the sea. And that one, excuse the rubbish, looking out of the front window of Jimbo's van, there's the Needles cliffs and then other cliffs. Yeah, and see how tall it is? I'm going to show you at the end. The Isle of Wight has mountains. So that's quite incredible, but I thought that was quite a nice picture. Anyway, now we're at the Needles. And look what it says. Wireless telegraph station. Exchange radio messages, first with a tug in Albion Bay, then with Bournemouth, 14 miles distant next with pool, etc. away later with ships 40 miles seawards. These wonders attracted worldwide attention, and famous scientists from many countries came 1898 to 1900 to see the new wireless telegraphy in experimental operation. This one says, this stone marks the site of the Needles Wireless Telegraph Station, whatever that word is. Macaroni and his British collaborators carried out from the 6th of December 1897 until the 26th of May 1900 a series of experiments which constituted some of the more important phases of their earlier pioneer work in the development of wireless communication of all kinds. It was probably earlier than that, wasn't it? Yeah, or they're picking up on stuff that was already made. There it is, the famous Needles. Out there at the end with the flat top is the little lighthouse. I thought there was more Needles than that, to be honest, but I can't remember now. Those are the Needles from going down on a walk down to the sea. Up at the place above, there's loads of games, picking up ducks, shops to buy souvenirs. The sands are so expensive, even a little tiny one. I mean, like the size of a very small salt cellar, was £10. I mean, that is too much money for me. Especially as, you used to be able to go and pick the sands up yourself. I think originally you paid for it, but you still went down there and you hauled your own sand. So maybe over time quite a lot of the sand has gone. But anyway, see that? People go down to the sea on that. But I'm going to show you a little video in a minute to show you what I asked of one of the staff. They said that ride is used throughout the year, except obviously when it's got to be in season. But in season, if there's high tides and the sea is lapping down the bottom, then they don't put people on it. But other than that, that thing is in use. I thought that was incredible. There's no way you'd get me on there. So there it is. Look, the sea is around. So obviously they're doing some work on it at the moment, and there's been some storms, and the stairs here were broken, and we're going down, and you see the sea is coming in now to the bottom of this, and this was covered in water, and I was thinking, they bring people down to this? Oh look, there's the Needles on the back of the picture. Bring people down on that, but not when the tide is on it. Oh, well, I wouldn't be going on it. And look at that. I think that's quite a nice picture of the land with all the different coloured sands in it. You see here, you can see yellows and different colours, and this was a sort of pinky colour. I know it hasn't come out on my camera like that, but it was pinky colour. And there's greens. These are the rainbow sands, just like in China on the mountains and other places. We have it here on the UK Isles. Yes, Isle of Wight. Oh, golly. Those are all the sands over there, all the different coloured sands. You're not allowed to pick any of it. See up there I can see a pink in that sand, but you're not allowed to touch them anymore. But look at this, the tide is in. And it's quite rough, isn't it, down here? And there's more sands there. But the nicest ones, colours, it's hard to believe, isn't it, that they bring people down to that, and the sea was really I thought it was all broken, to be honest, because the sea's here, lapping all around it. But they, as I said, they do bring people down on it, but you wouldn't get me on that. Oh, look at that sun up there. The weather was a lot more settled in the Isle of Wight, a lot different there than it was here. So that's incredible. And there's Jimbo standing there, and look in the background is the Isle of Wight. And then we came across this place. Now, you would think that was the Isle of Wight, wouldn't you? But it's not. That is Hurst Castle in the UK. So we're sort of driving around it, so we see it a few times. This is full on, but it's so bright out there sort of thing, and the camera and my screen's a bit broken. I couldn't even see whether I took any pictures or not. So that's why I'm filling in now, because yeah, I'm just telling you what we took pictures of. So there's a little bit back and forward here as we go to another beach. Oh, and that place was right on the sea, in the sea. Another one, look at that. And I think it's got apartments on the top. That's what someone was telling us. Anyway, I think this was freshwater. Sea was hitting it crazily, and then that was out there. Nice little beach huts. Another view of the Needles. Dog snoring if you hear it. Anyway, I was trying to catch they were coming in sideways, those waves, and then hitting that and then going back out the waves, but it looks like it was very bad weather, but it was actually quite nice. But the waves, it was a high tide, I think. But anyway, there's that castle again. There it is on the edge of England. Yes, I like that there. And then we drove on to Victoria Fort. This is before you get to Yarmouth, so from the Needles to Yarmouth. The thing was closed up, you could just walk through. I wanted to go and stand up there and have a look at the view at that and the Needles, but we couldn't get up. But that is Hurst Castle again. And a nice little garden facing at England. Doubt it. It would have been facing the other way probably, because it had land on it. And then that's a slightly closer picture of that building in the water. What we did was, what it was is someone said you can go there and then go down a track, but that building's private, so they won't like you being there. So what it was is they said, but there is a park there. So we went in there and it said private, no one in here. We parked the car, we walked to the edge, and then we saw that there. And then we got back to the car and went off on our journey. I didn't want any trouble there. Some little chalets there. I didn't like those little chalets. They were flat tops. They were like little one-bedroom places. But anyway, this is Yarmouth, the next place along. There was loads of yachts there, but I took a few pictures of yachts. Anyway, that's what the pubs were like. Very nice indeedy. Old and just lovely. All was not busy there. So more yachts, because obviously Yarmouth is known for yacht racing. Yeah, they have yacht racings there and everything. So money. And it was very expensive there as well. The meal and everything, or the bit we had. And even that was quaint. I don't think the picture shows how quaint that is, but I think that's the pub that we go in there, the brown one on the left. And inside it was all done out rather nicely. And right next door to it was Yarmouth Castle, that building there on the left. It's not that big. The guy who worked there said that people love coming here in the summer, you know, young people sitting out there in the garden. There's a pier there, and it's probably, yeah, it's very nice. Anyway, there's Jimbo looking at the food, and then here is this castle. That's not such a good picture there, but I left it in. So it's not a very big castle, as you can see, but that is called Yarmouth Castle. And that's the little pier. So it's all quite nice there. Music was playing, all nice and relaxed. There it is. It's getting a little darker, see, and the lights are coming on as I'm taking the pictures. It's got that crest. That crest is very old. It's very worn up there. Is that the last picture? Oh yes, that's the George. That's the pub it's attached to. So they're quite happy about that, because it draws people even for that. We finished our holiday and we're coming back. There's a boat. It's so funny. He was going, but he's going slower than us, and one of those hydrofoils has gone past. I think that's another ferry going, but we're heading back towards England now. Yeah, we're not far from Southampton, which is there. But I thoroughly enjoyed my weekend away on the little island of Isle of Wight. Floss, do you like the ferry, Floss? Floss? You like the ferry? Oh, it's all going slow. And down there is Jimbo's car, that one. So, that's us now back in England. Obviously that's the little, that was the other side as we're coming out the car park. It looked quite old. That's the ferry that we'd come on back to England. I'll take a couple more pictures of that building. There you go. And it had royal things on them, the lions, and it was an Indian restaurant, but it looks quite old, doesn't it? Yeah, I wanted to just talk about the fact that these are some of the mountains on the Isle of Wight. Jimbo was really shocked to know that, but you see, I could see the clouds on the tops, so they had to be mountains, and you're quite high out of the sea, you know, on top of cliffs and things sometimes in this place. So yeah, they're not the biggest mountains ever, but they're still classified as mountains. There's 36 of them. I didn't know that at all. I realised they were mountains because we've been to Wales and seen the clouds on the top of the mountains like we did here, but the weather itself was much more settled, much warmer somehow than the 10 odd miles to however many miles it is to Southampton and back on mainland. I saw them harping, I saw those things in the sky. Yeah, but I had a brilliant weekend. It was not long enough. I could have done with another 4 or 5 days there because it's just so relaxed. But thank you, Jimbo. We had a great time, and Floss had a great time too. Anyway, thanks very much for watching this video. Oh yes, and that is how tall they're saying Coombe Hill is. When you look at the height of the Isle of Wight mountains, it's not that much taller, but as I've told you before, we're on the Wessex Downs, which are mountains, and then Coombe Hill goes on the top of that. So it's like the Himalayas and then Everest. That makes it a complete mountain, and that is why it's the tallest point in southern England or England. I'm going to go up there and have a look and see what the sign says. Some people say it's England, the tallest point, and some say it's the tallest point in southern England, because obviously you've got Snowdon and other places. Oh yeah, I suppose that's in Wales, isn't it? Thank you for watching my video. Had a great weekend, and yeah, leave your thoughts afterwards.